and digital promotions using advanced tools like SQL, R, Python, Tableau, basic SAS, and domain specific tools. He is very passionate in teaching and has been actively involved in conducting various sessions on analytics in Miles Education Institute and teaches statistics for BSc, MSc, and MBA students in various colleges for over 8 years. So, welcome Mr. Arun Kumar sir. Yes, the floor is yours now.
Thank you so much, madam. So, a very good morning, all. Is anyone else here to join, madam? Is this the crowd?
Sir, we are having offline, the students are listening to you. We have around 8 students who are listening to you, sir.
Okay, no problem.
Right.
Okay. Let me share my screen. So,
Sir, is it comfortable for you to use the camera, your camera, so that students will see? Along with your presentation, can we also Sir, along with your presentation, can we also see your camera so that students, when they see you, they feel comfortable?
sorry, madam.
Yeah. Can we see you also, sir? Can you on your camera if you are comfortable with?
Yeah, sure. Just give me a second.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can
Thank you, sir.
Can you able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. We can see.
Okay. I think you guys got my introduction, so I don't want to spend much time on that. Okay, just let quick start our session. So basically, what I want to introduce you guys. So I just explain about what is the importance of data analytics, and where exactly we use the different data analysis and things. Probably it's related to machine learning or data science. Okay, so and I want to explain you a few examples related to that, and then probably I'll jump into so what is the use or advantage of if you go for a data analytics job. So that's where we're going to discuss more and more on that. So, and what is the importance nowadays like about a data analytics job or like machine learning job or a data science job. So altogether, whenever I say it's a data, it comprises all these fields. It's not specific to a machine learning or a data science. It's general way of discussing about related to data, how good you guys can be have your career in. Okay, that's what the entire session will go off. Okay, so probably you guys can ask me a question. So whenever you are having any questions on any specific thing, or like maybe you can ask me at the end of the session. So anything works for me. Okay. So why exactly we go for a data analysis nowadays? Okay, so over a period of time, I just put over a period of time, maybe past, I can say, we were like recording the things in simpler form, where like keeping records and entering the data or entering the records information over there, and that will be for the future reference. That's how we used to do, and later it's been replaced with the computers. So now the computers is also very huge data is handling by computers, so it's very difficult to manage the information, and so that like computers also is being replaced by a cloud management. Okay, so basically you're going to keep your entire information in one of the platform where whenever you require any of the data, so you'll just get from there and you'll do the analysis. So that's how the system is being like changed over a period of time. Okay, we are now entire the generations which we are facing now, it's entirely entire data world. Okay, so we are like very much interested to know about the facts, very much interested to know or to give information about facts, or like how exactly we deal with our data will matters with our business. So that's what entire businesses or maybe institutes are nowadays working. Okay, so just to start with that. Okay, so so this is what exactly I told you. The traditional data usually we used to maintain in tabular form, or maybe some records with the help of a computer or with the help of a book. Okay, now whereas the big data came into picture, okay, with this being overtaken by maybe even when you speak or when you text, when you take an image, all those information recorded as a data. Okay, so everything will convert into a data form, and then you can give more and more insights for that particular data. So that's how the current world is working. Okay, so you will be having a large amount of information on any particular form. Okay, that's what exactly data means. So say for example, okay, so this is how the like stock prices of retail customers. So you'll be having some columns in Excel or maybe some rows in SQL. You're going to store the information. That's what exactly traditional data we used to do. And whereas like big data is the one, so it's like having a huge amount of information. So like a single entry from a particular person. So nowadays you know how important the Facebook security is, like right. So like even whatever you say, so whatever you search, okay, whatever you take the image or picture, so everything will be recorded and it will be somewhere kept in at the back end. Okay, so everything is counted. Okay, so to handle those kind of information, so old methods are not enough to solve the problem. So in order to avoid that, in order to overcome that, so big data came into picture. Okay, so I'm not going to discuss much about the big data. I'm just giving you how the data is being generated and how exactly we are giving solutions to the data. Okay, so even I don't want to touch up this theoretical background. Just to give you, data as an information is being classified as various classes, especially the qualitative and quantitative. So qualitative is basically you cannot able to measure by them, but you have to convert the data into a different form. Then you can able to measure. Say for example, gender, religious affiliation, type of automobile mode, eye color. These are all not measurable kind of thing. So somewhere like you can convert them into a different scale. Then you can able to measure them. When it comes to a quantitative, this is where very important information we are getting nowadays. The continuous will be there, discrete will be there. So where you can able to measure the data and you can give some insights for the data. Okay, so that's what exactly data means. Okay, so pre-processing. So you will be having a lot of techniques to pre-process the data. So as a data scientist or an analyst, you should know how can I treat my data in a good format. So say for example, when we collect the data, it will be in a raw format. Just to quote an example, when you collect the information for the first time, you call it as a primary data, and if you are using the data which is already collected, that will be your secondary data. Okay, when you do that, say for example, you are doing some kind of analysis on AIDS. Okay, so in the public you have to go and collect the information related to AIDS awareness. Okay, so when you go there, you cannot directly ask a question, do you have AIDS, like that, right? So you will be having a questionnaire in such a way that the respondents will going to be, you need to attract the respondents so that you will get to the real question behind that particular study. So you will going to start with, so what is your habits, how many times you do a job, like that. You will going to start some simple questions. What's your age? So like that you are going to start, and then you will directly pitch into your research study. So you will be having a lot of unnecessary data. You just need to treat the data first, and then those data can be processed for further analysis. Okay. So basically, you will go to, that's what I told you. Once you have pre-processed, so then you will be label the data, and that labeled data can be used. So traditional, numerical and categorical only, but nowadays you will be having, as I said, text, images, audio, video, everything will be counted as data. So that's what. Then comes to analytics. What exactly analytics means? Okay, so basically you are like doing some research on some study. Say for example, you are discovering, interpreting, and communicating what exactly the data inputs. Okay, so you will going to apply a lot of techniques like statistics, computer programming, operation research, even like mathematics. So statistics includes maths also. Okay, so these are different fields you're going to apply for your study. So this is called as an analytics. Okay, so analytics fields there are many. So here I have quoted few. Predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics. We will discuss what exactly this analytics maybe later stage. Just to inform you, so these are the different kind of analytics models are there. Okay, so you understood. I think hope you understood what exactly analytics means. Any questions?
No, any questions for that?
Okay. So just to give you a hint on like what exactly analytics means. Okay, this is exactly an analytic model. Okay, you'll be having a descriptive kind of analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. Okay, so descriptive just describe about the what exactly the information which you have collected. What exactly you have collected the information. And diagnostic, it will find out what exactly why exactly this particular problem is happening. And predictive, you are going to give some kind of a futuristic value for that particular problem. Okay, what will going to happen in the future, and then you will going to explain about how it will going to happen in the future. So that's what exactly you're going to prescribe the thing. So when I want to give you an example. Say for example, I want to predict a sales information for one of the FMCG product. Okay, that's what exactly I'm going to do a predictive analytics. So why I want to do that particular prediction? That's what exactly you do a diagnostic check. And what exactly is happened for that particular data set. So which area it is being sales more, or what is the average amount of average number of customers who buy this particular product. So all those things are related to descriptive analytics. And what level of product I need to produce is basically example of prescriptive analytics. Okay, that's what exactly your analytics model contains. So it starts from describing the things and it will prescribe what exactly we need to do. It's like a doctor, maybe doctor-patient kind of relations. So that's how the analytics will work. Okay, so that's what I have explained here. Okay, so basically this is one of the best picture I can quote you. What exactly analytics, what is the statistics means, what is machine learning, what is artificial intelligence means. So basically when you frame the statistic things in a proper way, that's where you will learn with machine learning. Okay, that's where the machine learning evolves into a picture. And when you trial this particular frames for many people or many trials, so that will be your artificial intelligence. Okay, so it's nothing much difference with each technique. Okay, so whereas data science is being divided into various groups. Okay, each group is having its own importance. Okay, each group is having its own job creation, I can say. Okay, when I say data science is a combination of all these techniques. So even earlier I told programming things. Okay, it's a separate wing you can learn and you can apply the different languages here. Okay, you have a separate base of job creation here. Then comes to machine learning. So nowadays, like the jobs which are there in data science, so almost like 30 to 40% more than 30 40 I can say, which are related to machine learning concepts. So then web scraping. So web scraping is another technique where you can scrape the information or you can get the information from the websites. So with the help of again programming languages. And then comes to our maths. So as I mentioned, statistics and some of the maths related things, especially linear algebra and calculus plays a major role. Maybe if you want to become a data science, you should know all these techniques. And then data visualization is another BI related tool, BI related work, business intelligence. So you should know some of the tools which related to a data visualization, especially Tableau, Power BI, Matplotlib, ggplot, Seaborg. These are the different kind of data visualization tools. And when it comes to a data analysis, this is where like many jobs are there. So data analyst, business analyst, a data programmer. So there are so many jobs will get created under this way. So basically what it contains: feature engineering, data mining, EDA, exploratory data analysis. EDA means exploratory data analysis. So that's what exactly this entire data science contains. Okay, these are the very important things which you need to know. If you want to become a data science, you have to be thorough with all these things. Or else, if you are familiar with any one of that also, so you will be having the option to work with a different kind of roles. Okay, so I don't want to spend much time on this. So I've already told you artificial intelligence, machine learning, and deep learning. So basically, everything is a part of artificial intelligence only. So what happens in case of artificial intelligence, a technique which enables machine to mimic human behavior. So it's a purely entirely concept of our brains. Okay, how exactly our brains works. So we are going to train the machine in such a way that it will automatically take or it will mimic what we are doing in the current situation. Robots is a best example. Self-driven cars is another example. Okay, so what exactly artificial intelligence contains means it contains a machine learning and deep learning concepts. So probably we're going to touch base what exactly machine learning means and deep learning means. Okay, so why machine learning is so popular? Okay, so nowadays like everyone is behind this machine learning. Why it is so popular? Because will soon replace you and diminish your hard work. That's what I told you. We were loading or we were keeping or we were like storing the information in records, in books, in laptops or in systems. But everything is being replaced with cloud kind of data source where whatever may be the data size you can store there and you can use the information. Okay, so basically that's what I told you. It's a trial and error kind of algorithms you will use under machine learning. Okay, unless until we get a very good prediction or a very good what I can say solution for a particular problem, we'll be using all these machine learning algorithms. So that's what machine learning means. Algorithm finds patterns in data and infer rules on their own. So that's what machine will does. So we'll just feed the information and we're going to make an algorithm for that particular data, and based on error and trial. So what machines will do? Machines will going to give a results for that particular problem statement. Okay. So I'm going to give you an example how exactly it will work. Okay. So why machine learning? So that's what I told you. Again, I'm repeating the same thing. Flood of availability of data, increasing computational power, growing progress in available algorithms and theory developed by researchers, increasing support from industry. This is very important thing. So when I started my career, okay, so only few companies were working on the data analysis kind of thing. So nowadays, each and every business unit, okay, they are working and they are supporting on the data analysis thing. So that's where this machine learning evolved. Okay, so if I want to give some examples, if you look at the Netflix data, so each and every movie you click on the Netflix, it's being recorded at the back end. Even at the Amazon, whatever the site, whatever the product you want to visit, so it will be recorded at the Amazon back end. Okay, improve decision marketing. So I told you it's basically a problem solving. Okay, so how best we are going to solve the machine learning problem to a data which we have created. That's where your decision making starts. Okay, finding patterns and exact model. So basically when you have information, so we will not be knowing how exactly the behavior of the data. So we just need to find out and extract the information from that particular hidden data, and we have to disclose what exactly that information is. So solve complex problems. So basically, when I want to produce a particular what I say, if I want to produce a particular FMCG or maybe any category, so I just need to know what exactly the amount of inputs I need to give. So accuracy is very important in those cases. So if I want to give a solution for that, you should be 100% accurate on the problem what you are making. Then you can give a better results on that. So as a thumb rule says, so 80% of your particular analysis or the entire study what you are carrying out, it depends on how best you understood the data. So the data preparation and data gathering will solve you more than 100% of the data. So which I have shown you here in the module. Okay. So this particular phase is very important. Descriptive analytics phase is very important. Okay, so it covers almost like 70 to 80% of the solution to your problem. Okay, so how exactly it works? Okay, so with the help of AI, it will give you, it will going to learn the problem, it will predict the thing, and once it will predict based on trial and error method, it will improve the solution which the machine is giving. Okay, how does machine learning work? So you feed the information, analyze the data, it will contain all the steps of analysis model which I explained you, and find the patterns, which way I can give a solution for this particular data. It will find the patterns and it will predict those patterns for the future or maybe the current. Okay, and simultaneously it stores the feedback at the back end. Okay, so for example, as I told you, when you click on any of the sites, it will go to record the information. So how it will going to use? It will analyze the data, which record it is being clicked and how many times it is being clicked and who else has been clicked, and I'm going to find out all those patterns. I'm going to predict for the future. If I click on something, so what will going to happen next? So I'm going to give a feedback on that also. So it's a basically entire cycle will start and ends like this. Okay, that's how the machine learning works. Okay, so the main difference between machine learning and deep learning. So what happens in machine learning? So you're going to feed an input, okay, and by yourself you need to extract the information, and then you need to use what I say like the techniques under machine learning to identify the patterns, and it will give you a final output. But in case of deep learning, you don't want to do that. So you just feed the information. It will take an extraction part as well as classification part, and it will throw you on an output. So basically, to quote an example which I have done in one of the deep learning concepts, I was doing a prediction for sales of automobile industry. So what happens, like there is a model called as FB Prophet. So it's a deep learning concept. It will take the daily sales, okay, and it will throw an output for the future. Okay, it's a time series modeling which I have used. When it is thrown output, okay, what it will do? Daily it will going to record the data. Okay, so for example, weekly there are 7 days. Okay, there will be a weekdays also. The sales will not be there in weekdays. When it will throw an output in the future, it will memorize where exactly the sales was not there. For the future prediction also, the sales will be blank under that particular date. Say for example, in the last year, January 25th, the sales was there. It was on Monday, but in the next year, January 25th, the day is Sunday, but the prediction should be having 0 sales. So that's the simple example if I want to say. That's how the deep learning concepts will work. Okay, so you don't want to do anything, you just feed the data, it will throw an output which is very meaningful. It will do all the future identification, classification, or whatever the model you want to feed. So everything it will does, and it will throw an output. Okay, so again machine learning, I don't want to spend too much time, so I'm just giving you what are the classifications we have. So supervised machine learning, unsupervised machine learning, or reinforcement learning. So what exactly supervised means? When a machine learns from its training data, you will be having a data set and you will going to feed the some amount of information which you have, that is called as a training data. Based on that, it will throw an error. In case of unsupervised, you will not be having any supervised any kind of a training data. It's automatically it will separate out the information. I will not explain how exactly it will does. And then when it comes to reinforcement learning, machine learns on its own. That's what deep learning concept works. Okay, you will not going to be part of any identification. So system will going to learn from that. Okay, that's what I told you. Supervised learning, it will be having a labels. Okay, it tries to guess the label for the next level. If it is incorrect, basically it will throw an error. So that's what the supervised means. Unsupervised, you will not be having any labels. Okay, to quote an example here, if you look at this, okay, supervised learning classification algorithm. So basically, you are going to have labels for the these particular animals. Okay, so then it will predict based on what information you have fed. Say for example, you have fed this particular animal, so it is an animal, so it will throw a duck. So that means to say you will be having a labels here, and it will give you a certain predictions based on what exists here. Okay, that's what supervised will does. Where in case of unsupervised, you will not be having any labels, but it will going to separate out different kinds of animals here. So basically, this set of things are called as birds. This is called as one type of animal. This is owl. Okay, so that's how this classification will be does in unsupervised learning, whereas you will not be having any kind of labels for this. Okay, so some more examples for the supervised, unsupervised, and reinforcement learning. Whereas supervised learning, you'll be having two different headings: classification and regression. Okay, these are the techniques which are comes under supervised learning. So for classification, fraud detection, email spam detection, diagnostics, image classification. Okay, so basically, if I want to give you an email spam detection, say for example, every day, or maybe if you are a Gmail user, so every day you will get some of the spam emails. Okay, so if you want to identify any specific email which is causing a problem for your maybe system or like maybe mail patterns, so then probably you can use the supervised machine learning to identify which are those emails. Okay, regression, risk assessment, scores prediction. So basically, forecasting and prediction can be done under regression. Unsupervised learning, dimensionality reduction, clustering. Okay, I have showed you here example. This is how the clusters they will make. And reinforcement learning, gaming, finance sector, manufacturing, inventory management, robot navigation. So basically, it's a more of AI concepts comes under reinforcement learning. Okay, so this is an example. Okay, so some of use cases here. Okay, you can see face unlock in smartphone, selfie filters, networking, cab booking, Hey Siri, Google, personalized marketing. These are the different kinds of examples where you can see the advantages or use cases of machine learning. Okay, so all these things, that's what I told you. In each click, what you.
Okay, I found this on the web for what's the latest marketing research.
Sorry. Any questions?
Anything you need clarity? Sir?
Any questions, madam?
No, sir, everything is clear.
Okay. So these are the some of the applications or use cases. Okay, I can show you. Okay, so then that's what I told you here. Okay, so you'll be having a tweets. Okay, say for example, on any app or anything. So what it will do, it will do this kind of a hidden layer kind of algorithms. So then it will identify which are the positive tweets and which are the negative tweets. So it will separate it out. Okay. Recommendation engine. So say for example, this is a common examples which I have worked. That's the reason I have quoted here. Okay. So for example, I was working on one of the automobile industry. So there, when I recommend, when I see that like a person who purchased wheels and tires, definitely he'll go to buy accessories of car. Okay, so that's how the recommendation in Indian world works. So people who bought whatever the things purchased from a shop or maybe from online. So what else he has been bought along with that. So from the past data, we can able to recommend for the future. We'll just sell our products. We can increase the more and more sales in that particular pattern. That's how this recommendation will work. So forecasting, okay, so as I have already quoted you, how exactly we can forecast the sales, okay, sales information or anything, you can forecast for the future, okay. So ML will going to help us to forecast the thing, okay. Addressing churn, this is another very interesting thing. So for any business, for any customer based business, I can say, okay, so this churn analysis is very important. To quote an example, the telecom industry, especially when Jio came, many customers are moved from maybe Airtel or any other networking things to Jio. Okay, so this is called basically a churn. This movement can be observed or can be tackled with this with a kind of a machine learning analysis. Especially, we'll call it as churn analysis. Okay, so to quote a simple example which I have done very recently. Okay, so this is especially this is a cancer thing. So maybe not this one. I'll quote this one. So this is one of the recent example which I have done. Okay, so what exactly this data set is? This is related to COVID. So whether a person can infect with a COVID or not, based on certain factor first. Okay, say for example, I had some around almost like a lakhs of data. So what exactly it indicates? So for each patient or each person, whether fever is there or not, cough is there or not, breathing issue is there or not, chest pain is there or not. Based on that, we'll confirm it whether COVID has been like occurred or not. So that's what the basic exercise. I've used one of the tree algorithm to identify that. Okay, say for example, when breathing issue is there, yes means then definitely he's having a chances to infect. When breathing issue is not there, it'll be fall under no category. But next again one more question to that patient, whether chest pain is there or not. If chest pain is there, if yes means then next we need to check the fever. So if fever is there, then definitely this person is influenced to affect with COVID disease. If no fever, then no disease. So no possibility to infect. Okay, when chest pain is not there, when fever is there, again the classification. So fever is there, not infected. So he will be get infected. So that's how I have predicted using these information. So that's how the machine learning will going to learn from these each data set, and it will throw a prediction kind of output where it says if a person is having any of these things, it will say yes, you will be having you can possibly get COVID as a disease. So that's how the use cases will work. Any questions, anything on the use cases, please let me know. If not, I'll proceed. Okay. So what are the analytical tools? So far we just discussed about what is data and how the machine learning concepts or AI concepts is being used in different fields. So now we'll just discuss about the tools. What are the tools we need to study for this kind of a jobs? So basically, you just need to study some of the popular tools like R, Python, Tableau, SQL, Matplotlib. Okay, these are the programming languages you need to learn. Okay, nowadays like each and every company, yes, Excel is one of the bread and butter for any of the company. So if they use all these tools or not, maybe definitely they use Excel as one of the tools. Okay, And nowadays, like many of them are using R and Python because they are the free softwares. So that's the main reason. If you look at maybe job profiles or job requirement, so basically R and Python are the basic things. Okay, each and everyone is concentrating. When compared to especially SAS, SPSS, or RapidMiner, IBM Cognos, these are all the paid kind of a softwares. Okay, so whereas R and Python, so definitely they are free softwares. That's the reason more and more jobs are created under this string, especially Python. Okay, these are the tools. Probably you need to know much when you want to become any of these data analysts or business analysts or data science or machine learning, anything, any job related thing. If you want to go under these wings, so you just need to know all these softwares. Okay, so basically just to give you an idea which companies are using these kind of softwares. So for example, R, Accenture, Cognizant, Google, Facebook. So probably there may be a change in this structure also. Nowadays, like maybe it's been replaced with R by Python. Okay, so many other software has been replaced. Okay, so and Python maybe more than this. So only few of them are listed here. Apache Spark, Apache Storm. So these are the big data tools actually. So only few of them are using. So then comes to these are the commercial. So that's what I told you. SAS. Okay. So SAS is used by HSBC, Citibank, Google, Netflix. Okay. Especially HSBC, Genpact. These are the companies they use a lot. SAS especially. When it comes to Tableau, this is not a programming tool. This is a visualization tool. Okay. So many of them are using combination with these softwares. Excel, I told you, every company will use. ClickView, again, it's a programming tool. Okay, so many of them will use this. Okay. Okay, so just to highlight on job related things. Okay, so what is the job satisfaction for generally a data analytics or data related thing? So it's the 4 is the rating. Okay. So number of job openings on Glassdoor, this is a just number which got in recently. Okay, especially on an average basis they have listed around 6,542. Okay, is the number of jobs which are there in maybe Glassdoor only. Okay, so salary of for entry level developers. So not developers, it's a beginners and freshers I can say. It can be a combination. As I said, like it will be a data analyst, business analyst, data scientist, machine learning, or a programmer. So a combination of these things. Statistician. So it starts from 0 to 3 lakh. Only 11% of the job covers. Okay, 3 to 6 lakhs, 6 to 10 lakhs, 10 to 15 lakhs, 15 to 25 lakhs. Okay, these are the percentages. So if you look at these percentages, okay, so 38 plus 38, so 70 plus percents are concentrated. More than 75% are related to this. So maybe I can quote, like you will get the starting itself, you will get a huge amount of packages. Okay, so that's what I told you. And nowadays, this salary it starts from 9 lakh plus. Okay, for 3 plus years of experienced professionals, almost 75% are paid in the range of 8 lakhs to 40 lakhs. Highest salary even goes up to 50 lakhs. Okay, so many of them like who works in Google, Microsoft, their Walmart labs. Okay, they are getting a good amount of salaries, like even like plus 3 plus 4 experienced guys. Okay, recently one of my students, okay, so he's been placed in Flipkart. He's a very fresher. He did MBA in IIM actually. So he got 22 as a package, 22 lakhs as a per annum package. Okay, so that's how the job requirement as well as number of jobs available in this one. In the industries. Okay, so this is just give you a graphical picture and nowadays salary. Okay, just whatever the numbers we saw. So this is a graphical pie chart picture will give you an idea. So city of employment. So where exactly which city is having a more number of jobs? So when you look at here, almost like 38% of coverage is being in Bangalore. Okay. So then goes with Hyderabad, Pune. So I think a little bit changes will be there in the structure. But just to give a hint, more jobs related to the data science or data analysis. So more related here in Bangalore and Hyderabad, I can say. So even now nowadays, like because of maybe the availability of the place and the cost of the living, so most of the jobs are moving from Bangalore to Pune. That's what I have observed recently. Okay, this is one of the chart which I got from the natives. Okay, so what it says actually, it will give you an idea about the satisfaction level. Okay, this is an average job satisfaction level for each of these positions. So highest is machine learning engineer, researcher, bar professor, then comes data scientist or statistician, manager, director, data analyst. If you look at here, so majorly the data related things are in the top, all are positive. When it goes to a software developer, other positions are in negative actually. Okay. Then what we have, yes, this is what I need to code. It's not so easy to get maybe these numbers. By looking at these numbers, you may feel like okay, I can get it, but it is not so easy to get that. Okay, so in overnight you cannot become a data scientist. So you need to practice a lot. You need to learn a lot of techniques and tools to become this. Okay, then probably you can like. That's what I told you. You are the go-to person about anything data. So if I want to say, if you want to become a data scientist, so you should know each and everything related to data. That's what I mean to say. Okay. So next I want to explain you about my particular how exactly I got into analysis role. Okay. So I have 10 plus of years of experience. Okay, so I graduated with MSc in statistics. I started my career in TCS. Okay, so I have learned a lot of tools. Okay, so when I say data analysis, it's not maybe one day learning kind of thing. So you have to spend a lot of time, a lot of amount. Maybe to learn a particular thing. So it's not so easy to get it very easily. So it will take some time to learn each and everything. So that's what I told you. It's a lifelong learning. So you just need to use a different kind of techniques. When I started with SAS programming along with the statistics thing, and then moved to R programming. Then I moved to SAS, and then moved to SPSS. And then now I'm using Python and R as well as Tableau as a combinations. So that's how it will be. And when it comes to the application wise, the very advantageous thing in data analytics thing is you will not going to learn only, or you will not going to apply the knowledge which you have. You are going to learn many things. Okay, so basically I've started my career with retail related domain, but I was zero knowledge of retail domain. But when I started my career, and like after 5 years, so I got an enormous knowledge on retail related domain. I learned a lot of things, and I have met a lot of people in that platform. Okay, and then when I switched to automobile industry, even I don't have a single idea about automobile industry. So I learned end to end how exactly the car manufacturer works, where exactly we'll get the parts of a car, and how to buy the part, and how to price the part. So everything I have learned from those automobile domain. So that means to say you will just not learn only the data or data analysis techniques or softwares. You're going to learn the business, and you're going to learn the different domains. This is the only field where you're going to learn the other domains as well, not only your techniques. Okay, when you want to solve a particular problem, when you want to deal with the data, you should know what exactly the data is. So if you know the data, then only you can able to solve. So for example, recently I started my career with clinical analysis, clinical development. If if I want to know, if I want to give some solutions for the clinical related thing, I want to understand what exactly clinical development means. So what is trials means. So how can we how can we develop a drug for a particular disease? So I want to know each and everything. Then only I can give a problem. I can give a solution for that particular problem. So that's what I told you. It's not so easy. So and if you start learning, it will become very easy, and you will get enormous amount of knowledge on your subject and as well as different domains also. So as I told you, by showing different possibilities, you will be having an ocean of possibilities under this particular job sector, because many industries, whoever like call it as like a business capabilities, so they are like they started with these kind of analysis now. So it's not only one industry, many of them. Okay, so with that, so probably I have covered many things, so I hope. So if you have any questions, so I think over to you guys. So please let me know if you have any questions.
Any questions you want to ask me?
And I hope the presentation makes sense for you guys, understood something, and you guys are able to at least know the situation, what exactly it is. I hope so. Any questions?
Students, if you are having any doubts regarding the business analytics and how the career will be there in business analytics, you can ask our students. We will be able to clarify whatever the doubts you are having regarding which industry will be having more opportunities, or just now you said that which area of the country is having more job opportunities for the business analytics, and what we are going to learn in business analytics. Any doubt related to this session, you may ask. We will be able to address your questions. Isma, any other doubts? No queries at all? Everything is clear? Great. So, answer, everything is clear, and students are very happy with the presentation. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Smith, we will propose the vote of thanks for the session.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, friends.
Good morning, everyone. It is my pleasure to propose the word of thanks. At the outset, I express my thanks to Mr. Arun Kumar for his valuable session on data analytics and machine learning. It was a knowledgeable session, sir, where you have mentioned that data should be recorded and stored, which will help in solving complex problems. The concept of machine learning, which is a dominant mode of AI today and helps in prediction and increasing computational power. You have explained about the supervised, unsupervised and refreshment learning with good examples. The various analytical models such as Python, SAS, Tableau, Excel were mentioned by you, which were explained well. Sir, you have shared your experience as data analyst, which is a lifelong learning process and has wider perspective. I wish to thank our principal, Reverend Father Dr. D. Sundar Reddy, for his support and guidance throughout. I thank Professor R. Anita for her untiring efforts for the smooth conduct of the program. I thank our HOD, Mrs. Dhanam, and orientation committee members for their wholehearted support. I thank all my colleagues, Kiran sir and Swami sir, for technical support and supporting staff of the college for their ready help. I would also like to thank our PGDM's first year students for their patience listening. Lastly, I thank one and all for the success of the session. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for joining us and giving your time for explaining our students about this business analytics. I think we are officially at the end of the session, sir. I think we can close the session with your permission. Sir, shall we end the session, sir?
Shall I?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. See you guys.
See you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you.